Hello everyone, this is my 2015 TVS Jupiter. I thought why not go into its history and why it was born. Hold up, I know what you're thinking. It's just a 12-year-old family scooter, and what's so damn special about it? But what if I told you that this scooter had features which were so useful and so practical that even the godfathers of two-wheeler manufacturing, i.e., Honda and Suzuki, copied features from this scooter, and also its sibling, the Wego. Also, many people think that scooters are just things which are confined to cities and cannot be used anywhere outside of it, and therefore aren't fun, but I disagree. When you can do stuff like this and this, it's just a matter of mindset and will, really. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Now back to the actual video. And how the TVS Wego was killed because of it. It wasn't killed because of it, but this was one of the primary reasons as to why that scooter got killed. Let's get into the features that TVS introduced at the time at 2015, which were quite unique to this bike. Starting at the front, it's really similar to the TVS Wego with the dual indicators in the front panel, not with the headlight assembly. I'll make it short and sweet because this isn't a new scooter. Probably everyone would have seen the scooter already, so yeah. One of the distinguishing features of this scooter from the front will be those two pilot lamps, one at either side of the headlight. At the time this scooter was launched, this was one of the only scooters in India which had pilot lamps. If you're wondering as to why these pilot lamps actually do, well, even I'm not sure. TVS says it aids in visibility in low light situations, but then what is the headlight for? Google says it can be used as a form of parking light at night and also can be used if the headlight fails. And that is actually a great use case because I have used it for the exact same purpose quite a few times and it does work. It's not bright enough to light up the road, but good enough to let other people know that you are there. You can see this is the headlight toggle switch. This is the first setting and this is the second setting. Now the first setting is only for the pilot lamps, and that means the headlight will not work. Now if you want the headlight and the pilot lamps to work in conjunction, then you will have to move on to the second setting. So that's that. Another distinguishing feature at the time, and another feature that is shared with its sibling, was this 12-inch front wheel. Now this 12-inch front wheel at the time was quite revolutionary because the only other scooter at the time in the Indian market which had a 12-inch wheel was the TVS Wego, that is its sibling. I've been riding the scooter for almost 10 years now, and let me tell you, these 12-inch tires do make a big difference. Also, this may be a good time to talk about one of the scooter's main strengths, which is the fact that it has 12-inch wheels on both ends and also has a telescopic suspension at the front. So the confidence you get on this thing while cornering, well, for me at least, is mind-blowing to say the least. Coupled with the fact that I have installed a bigger tire at the rear, which we will come on to later, this thing corners like you wouldn't believe, man. The only thing which stops you from leaning any harder are its center and side stands, which will hit the road. Compared to the 10-inch wheels we used to get on the Activa, and the Axis rear wheel is also 10-inch, so yeah. Now coming to the instrument cluster, another 10k kilometers are actually added to this bike, but during those 10k kilometers, the speedometer wasn't connected, like the pinion had, broken. So yeah, there's the usual speedo, the fuel gauge, and also two features which are unique to the scooter, which were unique back in 2015, was this these two modes. These aren't actually modes per se, but these are indicators to identify whether you are in the most eco-friendly or the most economic throttle input. Yeah, these are not modes. This is an indication from the scooter to tell you if you are in the most economic throttle input. So for example, so now I have started the scooter. Now when I twist the throttle, it's still in green. When you go up beyond it's not beyond a certain RPM, but it does look like it. But when you twist the throttle beyond a certain degree, only then it goes into the orange. So it isn't a mode, but that is what it is. And also, I don't think you can see it in the sunlight, but this is the indicator for the left side, this is the indicator for the right side, this is the high beam indicator, and this is the low fuel indicator. Now why this is such a useful feature is, on my scooter the fuel gauge is really iffy, like it doesn't work most of the time. But this fuel light for some reason works. Like let's say if the fuel level in the tank is like lower than 1 liter, Yeah, around 1 liter. It just turns on, like the fuel light turns on, but it doesn't matter if the fuel gauge works or not. This always works, and I don't know how TVS has done that. Do they have two sensors for both of these? But this works. It's like a redundancy built in. I don't know if they intended to do it. I don't know. I'm not sure, but either case, I'm really happy because this really works. If you're on a tight budget and you can't fix your fuel gauge, this really works. Coming to the rear end of the scooter, again, just like in the front, we have a 12-inch wheel at the rear, which was revolutionary at the time in the Indian scooter market, because this was actually one of the few scooters in the market which had 12-inch wheels on both ends. And this is also another feature which it shares with its dead sibling, the Wego, and the CVTI sticker here, which has seen better days. Also another feature which was revolutionary at the time. Today, this external fuel fill lid might seem like a pretty common thing, but back in 2013 when it was just launched, it was only among two scooters in the Indian market which had an external fuel fill lid. The other scooter again being its own sibling, the Wego. Damn, what an underrated scooter the Wego was and still is, unfortunately. Being one of the very few scooters to have a feature or the innovation of a new feature will be a common theme throughout the video, as you may have already noticed. One of the main advantages of an external fuel fill lid, and I quote from TVS, hassle-free quick refueling and protecting contents of the underseat storage area from petrol fumes. I am not too sure about the first point because I have always had to get down to close the lid, but the second point seems useful. A good feature nonetheless. Access and Activas today do have an external fuel filler lid, but they have an external cover and then you have to unscrew the cap. But TVS took it to the next level. If you twist it in the right direction, it opens the luggage compartment. If you twist it on the left side, it opens the fuel filler lid. Now this fuel filler lid doesn't have a lid inside. Like the external case and the lid to secure the fuel compartment is like a single piece unit. Don't have to screw the thing back, screw the lid back and then close the fuel filler lid. So that's that sleek design and it works, and it has never caused me any problem till now. And that's it for the rear end section. Well, not really, we have some major components yet to see. Now this is the CVT case. Now we will talk about the CVT case later because it has given me quite a few problems. But the engine on the other hand has been a beautiful gem. Talking about the engine, powering this scooter is the tried and tested 109cc single cylinder air cooled engine which is used even on today's Jupiter 110 with slight modifications. This engine has a bore of 53mm and a stroke length of 49mm. Surprisingly, for a scooter, it has a slightly over square engine, which doesn't mean it has problems with low end torque, cause it doesn't. It pulls cleanly from 0 all the way to 55 kmph cleanly. After that, you can still push it to around 75 to 80 kmph and thereafter it doesn't have much to give. To be honest, I've used this scooter for quite a few long rides and let me tell you, this engine just doesn't care if you ride it for over 2 hours at its cruising speed of 65 kmph without any brakes at all. It'll just keep going and going without any fuss. Now talking about the gearbox, well, it's just a CVT and it does the job. It isn't as reliable as the engine, unfortunately, and I just got it rebuilt a few months ago, and that was a hefty bill to foot for sure. About 8,500 bucks heavy to be precise. Now the luggage compartment can fit a full face helmet quite easily. At the time, you could have spec'd this scooter with an optional DC charger for your phone, but we didn't spec that option with this scooter. Now here's the fuse for the entire scooter, the battery fuse. Now the interesting thing about this fuse is, this is really handy if you want to leave your scooter for a long time in a place you really don't know about, or if you think your scooter can be easily stolen or something like that. This fuse can be pulled out really easily and the scooter just won't start. So it's a foolproof system that works. Immobilizer of sorts, physical immobilizer. I think this should be standard on every scooter. Also, one more thing which TVS did really different with this scooter is this easy center stand. It's their own patented center stand, I believe. And compared to the regular center stand, this has a joint here which connects the the part which hits the ground, and also it has a joint here. So lifting the scooter and putting it on its center stand is a piece of cake for anyone. Even I guess even a small child could do it easily. I mean, that's really nice attention to detail and really nice practicality. And here's a hook, plastic one, and a hook here, and this hook is really good. I mean, TVS says it can hold only 3 kgs, but I have put items which are way more than 3 kgs and it hasn't broken till now. So yeah. Also, another thing I want to point out is that if your battery doesn't work, the Kickstarter is right here, so you can easily just kickstart it. But there are many other scooters in the market which have the kickstand below the center stand, so you really can't reach for it or you really can't use it without engaging the center stand, without putting the scooter on its center stand. So really nice design here again. If you made it this far, I think you actually liked the video and therefore a small bonus piece of content for you. Almost all of the features I mentioned before were already present on one of TVS's other scooters, the Wego. The scooter that launched 3 years before the Jupiter, but it was discontinued back in 2020. But it still boggles my mind as it was the first scooter in the market to have so many features. The reason it was discontinued was because TVS did not want to update this scooter's engine to the BS6 norms, and also it wasn't selling well enough. The Jupiter was definitely a part of its demise, but to be honest, it was the Jupiter which really turned things around for TVS because as of December 2025, more than 36% of TVS's total sales volumes come from the Jupiter, which is to say the least a massive number. But it wasn't like TVS gave up on the Wego. In 2014, they updated the Wego with an all-digital instrument cluster, which at the time was the only scooter to have one. In 2015, again, they tried something different by launching a variant with a front disc brake. The Wego had all the bells and whistles for a great scooter, and it was also quite reliable, but maybe it just didn't have any luck, or maybe it just wasn't its time.